top of whatever's new that could help me move better and easier in my body. Having no idea, and here it was 20 years later, I'd kind of given up for anything new. I'd heard about Hanna Somatics, and I heard just a few short sentences, enough to know, because intuitively I felt the damage I had inside was more neurological than large muscles or whatever. And because this, just in those few sentences, I knew I had to go and find out about this. And sure enough, I took a 2-day class in Hanna Somatics, and it was all about learning the neurological. And by the end of 2 days, I felt like I'd been on a cruise ship for 3 months. So relaxed and out of pain. And I thought, I've got to learn this. I have to learn this for me. I have to learn this for anybody else who's coming from some trauma, some type of trauma in their body.
This may be a good spot to stop and say, we are not recommending that you ditch your doctors. We are offering you just an alternative, some things that are working for people and that you may want to look into. We're not advising that you know, you discontinue your medical treatment, but this is something that is very invasive, and it's an incredible. It's incredible. It's a miracle. So. With that said, you know, we don't want to discount the medical field because they have their purpose, and there's alternative doctors.
And diagnostics can be very helpful.
Right.
And I just want to say one other thing. It's very helpful when a client comes in and has a specific diagnosis, because there's sometimes there's precautions, or you need to know a little bit about medication, so it's helpful. But also doctors have a certain kind of wonderful knowledge, but frankly they haven't been educated to know very much about muscles and contracted muscles and the kind of tension and that kind of thing. So you might get a muscle relaxant, but you're not really getting at how the muscular system is relating to the brain and the nervous system and how to get into it and really work with it.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. So tell us what some of the concepts are and go into a little bit further.
Yes. Well, one of our major concepts, every kind of work has a little bit of jargon. One of our major terms is sensory motor amnesia. And it's a very helpful term to understand. When you've had either trauma or you've had some sort of repetitive activity that has put your body in a certain pattern of contracted muscles, however you got your contracted muscles, what happens is contracted muscles are not moving normally. And in fact, sometimes contracted muscles just stop moving and the body has to compensate by using other muscles. Well, where your muscles are not moving appropriately or at all, you are not sending the sensory information from those muscles up to the brain. You're stopping the movement, so you're stopping a lot of sensory information. The motor system relies on the sensory information, so the motor system, which has us act, knows what to do. If it's not getting the sensory information, it can't respond motorically with the motor system in an appropriate way. And you get this amnesia, you get this forgetting how to sense and how to feel. Two sides of the same coin, sense, feel, and move. So you need to start somewhere. You need to move a little and start sensing again. You need to start sensing again in order to move and start building back up. And that's the message of hope. You can have had contracted muscles from an injury, a trauma, a repetitive action, a postural imbalance for decades. And you can reawaken that brain sometimes very quickly. 2 days for you, it really started. Sometimes an hour or 2 hours, it starts. I'm not saying that's the whole thing, but you start waking up the brain through sensing and moving and appropriately building on this kind of concept. So in Hanna Somatic Education, we do away with sensory motor amnesia. That's what we're trying to have you learn how to do so that you don't have that. And so that's a major, major concept in Hanna Somatic Education, one of a few.
So what are you finding as years have gone by and you've been working with a lot of people. What kind of things are you, not only are you able to get people out of pain, what other kind of things are you seeing?
Well, what Thomas Hanna realized that a lot of the pain in the world was learned through these bad habits. And he realized if you could learn it, you could unlearn it and learn better habits so that you could be out of pain. And so he, you know, anybody who's ever been in pain, it takes over your life. I mean, it's hard to focus on anything else. But what Thomas Hanna really wanted people to get to is, if you didn't have the pain, what would you be doing in your life that would make you a happier person, a more self-fulfilled person? And so maybe you wouldn't be afraid to travel anymore. Maybe you could take that dance class. Maybe you could pick up your grandchildren. Maybe you could walk again and enjoy the outdoors. And so he really wanted you to go beyond pain, if possible, to, now that you're out of pain or you have your pain under control, you know how to keep your pain under control, now how can you use that as a stepping stone to creating a better life for yourself?
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we're getting to the point where we're starting to run out of time. Can you believe that? We've got a few minutes left in the show, but we would like to get your information out there.
Okay.
So if you could tell everybody how they can contact you, that'd be great.
Great. Well, my name is Susan Koenig, and should I just say out my phone number?
Yes.
510-848-4129. That's Berkeley, California. And my email is my name, SusanKoenig @earthlink.net. And I think a few other pieces of information might flash up on the screen, but let me show the book Somatics by Thomas Hanna. He wrote many books, actually, but this is the Bible. And there's so many wonderful things in the book. All the concepts are explained in lay language. And towards the back of the book, there's a whole section on the basic movements. So you can be anywhere in the world. This is in many languages. And you can use the book, and there are CDs and tapes, and you can learn how to do this no matter where you are in the world.
That's fantastic. Great. Well, let's give the information for the Paranormal Connection. If you would like to watch us, we are on the first and third Monday of the month, 9 p.m. We have an encore performance Tuesdays at 1 p.m., 5 a.m. on Wednesdays. We have all of our information on our blog, which is Paranormal Connection Danna-blogspot.com, and that's an awful lot to remember. But if you Google Danna Paranormal Connection, D-A-N-N-A, you're going to come up with some link that will take you to that spot. Also, if you'd like to email me, I get on the mailing list or become a guest. Danna's Journey at sbcglobal.net. That's D-A-N-N-A-S Journey at sbcglobal.net. So we've got just a few minutes left, and I would like you to at least give some parting words. We are going to be going on to another part of the show, so there's more information coming up. We're going to hear more from Janet. She's going to talk about how her healing process came to be, and also we're going to have some questions answered by Susan. So if you had one thing to say to everybody out there in 1 minute, what would it be?
I hope you explore this area. I think that there is much in the Hanna Somatics that's appropriate to anybody. I don't care what age they are, that they can learn in the movement of their body, the ease and efficiency of using their body in a whole different way makes the world a difference.
Amen.
So,
that's great. Yes. Okay, I would love to thank my wonderful crew, Dan and Lisa and Greg, Tony, and we've got Marge, and also Dave Michael stopped by. Hi, Dave. What a treat. So, Susan, anything you have to say in the last few seconds here?
Message of hope. You can really get out of pain. Your body can be better. You can grow old with a functioning body, with wisdom, and with a lot of grace.
Great. Well, I hope you will join us on the next episode of Paranormal Connection when we continue with all this fantastic information about Hanna Somatics and the miracle. It's just a miracle. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.